Welcome to another episode of Stereo Talks, where we dive into the world of tech, design, and everything that makes you say, wait, what? I'm your host, and today we got a juicy topic that's sure to get your brain buzzing. So grab a coffee, or whatever's your thing, and let's chat. Before we jump into today's topic, quick reminder. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out on our weekly discussions about all things tech, design, and the wild world of consumer electronics. Now let's get to it. In today's episode, we're talking about a move that's left a lot of tech fans scratching their heads: Dell's rebranding. Yep, you heard that right. Dell's decided to ditch their iconic XPS, Latitude, and Inspiron lines and instead roll with the simplified names: Dell, Dell Pro, and Dell Pro Max. Now, is this a clever move to make things easier for consumers? Or have they just taken a wrecking ball to their identity and legacy? Stick around, because we're breaking it down from a design perspective and asking if this rebrand is genius or just another attempt to be like everybody else. Looking at you, Apple. But before we dive in, a quick disclaimer. Everything I'm about to say is just my 2 cents. I'm not some design guru, just a regular tech enthusiast like you. So don't take everything too seriously, all right? Let's just have some fun with this. All right, let's start with what Dell says their rebranding is all about. They claim it's to simplify things, clearer categories, clearer products. You got your Dell for the basics, Dell Pro for your professional work, and Dell Pro Max for those who need the ultimate top-tier performance. It's streamlined, it's clean. In theory, it makes perfect sense. And you know what? From a design standpoint, I get it. I mean, look at the world we live in. Consumers want things fast, they want them simple, and they want things to make sense. Having 3 separate product lines with weird names that only tech nerds understand, not exactly the best move for the everyday person walking into a store. Simplifying it to Dell, Dell Pro, and Dell Pro Max does make it easier for someone who doesn't want to spend an hour figuring out the difference between an Inspiron and an XPS. But here's the kicker. Does it come at the cost of personality? I mean, Dell's past product lines were like individuals with their own vibe. The XPS was sleek, premium, and sharp. The Latitude was professional. No frills, but super reliable. Inspiron was dependable, the just-get-the-job-done laptop for students and everyday use. They all had meaning, and they had character. But now, it's like just one giant pile of Dell, Dell, Dell. I can't be the only one who thinks that's, well, kind of boring, right? Where's the individuality? Where's the spark that made Dell stand out in the crowd? Now, I get it. Everyone loves a little simplicity in their lives, especially when you're shopping for a laptop and all the tech jargon is starting to make your head spin. But let's not pretend that this rebranding is all sunshine and rainbows. Let's take a closer look at how this affects the design perspective. On one hand, the new naming scheme may appeal to first-time buyers or folks who aren't deep into the tech world. You walk into a store or hop online, and you see Dell, and immediately know, okay, that's a budget laptop. Then you see Dell Pro and think, all right, that's the one for the professionals. And of course, if you want all the power and fancy features, you'll grab the Dell Pro Max. From a consumer journey standpoint, this design shift might seem pretty smart. But from a brand storytelling and identity perspective, I'm not so sure. See, when people bought an XPS, they weren't just buying a laptop. They were buying into a legacy, a name that promised something more. There was exclusivity tied to that name. Same goes for Latitude and Inspiron. But now, when you buy Dell, you're just buying a name, and not just any name. One that's about as interesting as calling a cat cat. No personality, no flair. I mean, come on, can we talk about the lack of creativity in these new names? The Pro and Pro Max labels feel like they've been done to death. And while we're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, all right? Keep up with these discussions, because trust me, you don't want to miss the next breakdown of what's happening in the tech world. Every brand under the sun is slapping a Pro Max on their products. Dell, are you sure you want to follow the Apple formula here? It feels less like a bold design choice and more like a lazy copy-paste from the Apple playbook. Yeah, real original Dell. Good job. Let's take a step back here and really think about it. How much does legacy actually matter? I mean, I know it matters to me, but does it matter to everyone? Maybe not. Maybe this whole rebrand is actually a clever strategic move to push Dell forward into a new era. The tech world is changing fast, and not everyone needs the emotional connection to a laptop brand that some of us have. Maybe for some people, it's about getting the best deal, regardless of what it's called. They just want a solid laptop that gets the job done without worrying about whether it has XPS in the name. But man, it's hard to ignore the emotional weight that comes with saying goodbye to XPS, Latitude, and Inspiron. These were brands that held meaning, and I think that's what really hits home for people like me who grew up with these names. So, yeah, Dell Pro is clear, but it's also a little cold, don't you think? Like, it just feels like a step back from the passion and legacy that Dell had built. Okay, before I get too dramatic about how Dell is killing off its identity, let's talk about something that might actually make this rebrand worthwhile: their partnership with AMD. Now, for those of you who've been living under a rock, or, don't care about CPUs, AMD's been killing it lately. Their Ryzen processors have been blowing up, offering incredible performance at a fraction of the price compared to Intel. And Dell's now putting these chips in their commercial notebooks. This is a big deal. This gives Dell a chance to offer some serious competition in the commercial laptop space, where Intel has long been the king. So, even though the new Dell branding might not have the cool factor anymore, the hardware shift is something that could keep people coming back for more. I'm not saying I'm ready to forgive them for ditching XPS, but if they can deliver the goods with these new chips, I'll be a happy camper. All right, folks, let's wrap it up. Is Dell's rebranding a stroke of genius? Or did they just pull a Microsoft and ruin something that was perfectly fine? Well, I'm still not totally sold on this simplified branding. Sure, it might make shopping easier for the average consumer, but it's also stripped away the soul of the brand that a lot of us have come to love. Dell's legacy has always been about performance, design, and reliability, and these new names just don't do it justice. But hey, that's just my take. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe the new name will grow on me. But for now, let's just say I'll be holding on to my good OL XPS memories. What do you think? Are you on board with the Dell Pro rebrand? Or are you like me, reminiscing about the glory days of the XPS, Latitude, and Inspiron lines? Before I finish, don't forget to subscribe. Seriously, you don't want to miss out on future episodes where we dive into these kinds of topics. Hit that button, and I'll catch you next time. Hit me up on social media, and let me know your thoughts. As always, thanks for tuning into Stereo Talks.